Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the Scorpio reading. So we're actually going to start your reading off with, wow, these just are coming out. We're going to start your reading off with these. They wanted to talk. All right, symbiosis in that. So okay, there's something very clear, Scorpio, about your energy right now. You're going through a phase where you're recognizing kind of all of these things that you've been through and where you're going, and you're holding them both in your hand. Like you're able to see clearly what's happened, and you're able to see, I think, a strong difference in where you're going, which I think is a good thing. I think you're sensitive, you're sensitizing to kind of the fact that you've been through some things in this world, but you want different. And I think that's allowing you to process some of the things that maybe it didn't feel safe to process before. Let me get one of these and then I'm going to get into the tarot. I feel like some of you guys are, I don't know. Let's see when we get there, okay? Let's just do one thing at a time. Sorry if you hear the dog barking in the background. Dogs barking has been a theme here, a nuisance theme here. I wonder if anyone else is dealing with that. Life is better together. Seek assistance from your community. Connect with family, friends, or others who will support you. It can be as simple as making a phone call. There might be somebody who you've been wanting to call too. I think this is the go-ahead to be able to do that. Okay, well, and then you have setting up parameters. Assess your relationships and determine how they are aligned with your goals. Setting boundaries requires an honest evaluation of your present relationships. I wonder if you're already going through that, but you do have life is better together. So it's like, Scorpio, you could be kind of caught in the middle of, I want to be together, but also there's these things going on, and it's almost like a quiet turmoil, but then the rest is good. It's almost like you're assessing your relationship with someone or some different people. And for some of you guys, I believe that this could be where the ones that you're assessing are kind of in your background life. They're not like the partnership. Maybe you're choosing to move forward with a partnership. It feels like you're needing to deal with the background people, meaning not the ones that you see every day or not the ones that you have a lot of open communication with. Maybe this is coworkers, acquaintances, just kind of some odds and ends. Like you're tying up loose ends for whatever reason in your emotional life. I do believe that there is a partnership that you're struggling with, but you want to move forward in it. I wonder if you're speaking to someone about that, or if you came here to know about that. That would actually make a lot more sense. Let's see. Tell me about this relationship. Man, I'm really sorry if you can hear the dog barking. That's got to be frustrating if it's picking up on the headphones. I've got my noise canceling activated, so I can kind of tune it out. But it's probably frustrating if you can't, and if you're picking it up. That might also be what could be happening, is that sometimes you can tune someone out and other times like you can't. Okay, so 3 cups, celebrations, happy times, being together. Everyone's kind of like jumping into new things together. I wonder if there's like a third person here. It doesn't seem malicious or like with malintent. It just seems like there's another person that you got to consider in this. Let me see what that 3 is about. The Hierophant. Maybe there's a way where someone's parent is heavily involved. Maybe there's a way where there's certain like morals or judgments or something that are coming up. He's got that the like all-knowing book, so he's kind of, the Hierophant here is a different depiction. It's supposed to be where someone is like gaining the spiritual wisdom or enacting it, but in this one it's a little not super, it feels like Judgment Day almost. And it does feel like, I don't know which one you're going to resonate with more. It's either that you're calling BS on something and you're making something like legally stand up, morally stand up, like there's a boundary that you're not letting someone cross, or it's where you're kind of like asking for the flow of the universe to be on your side. Maybe all in the same breath, you know? I don't know what else I was trying to talk about. It's almost like I get further away from it the more I look at it. And then the Tower. And then we see these 3 people here again, but it looks like Six of Swords. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so if you're like dealing, I don't know if this is a relationship or something, whatever you're needing to reach out to someone for, if you're here for a relationship reading, I think that's the situation. If you're needing to reach out to like members of your community or people that you know that can help you with certain things, I think that's what it's talking about for you. It seems like there's specifics on it though, like it could go either way, but you would know. And it seems like if it is a relationship, there's something that someone wants to look at. Like someone's either, it's almost like 3's a crowd. So like somebody needs to deal with that. Or shed light on where the situation's going. What are we? What are we gonna be? What are we building together? Are there other people influencing this? Like there's some kind of question around it. If it's the latter, then it looks like someone is sorry, I have like a headache almost. Like this is a really intense thing, it seems like. Which is what the beginning of the reading felt like, is that while you're sensitizing to like your past and your future and the journey of moving in that direction, which you're headed towards your north node, which is good. That's right on track for you. But it doesn't feel great. Like it feels like at the beginning I was going to say it feels like these are really intense things that you're going through, like intense feelings that are coming up, intense desires for the future to be a certain way or for things to come through there. There's like a stark difference. There's a contrast between the two. And it seems like kind of fighting for some kind of justice in the future or towards the future. for you to live in the future. The things that are happening around, like specifically within it though, is it seems like there's these things that make your heart just beat faster. It seems like time is running out. It seems like the moment where you need to like throw more at it in order to make it happen the way you want it to. But every time that I know that that's happened, it's like sometimes that can get mismanaged easily if you're moving from like such an emotional space. Here it's actually saying that that's right on track. Again, it's like it's showing you. See, even like my bias comes in to be like, ooh, is that too intense? And then your reading is showing up on your behalf to kind of reiterate like, no, intensity is what's driving this. It like there's a severe injustice somewhere. And I think that either you're fighting for like a relationship that seems like you're waiting for a commitment or dedication or something, or to be on the same page with someone, or you're dealing with someone or maybe a group of people or something, and everything seems okay, but it's really not. It's really not. And I don't know that you know who to talk to yet to solve that problem, or if you've already started and the process of solving it is to dig up all these other things and figure out why you want what you want and put your foot down on it. But it does seem like a slow process, and it seems like you're sensitive to the pain throughout the whole process. And it does seem like it's taking forever, but I think that's just because it's a heavy heart. It's hard to share, you know? But you're getting there. I wonder if this is regarding like people in a work setting. Or this could just be someone that you're like so fiery passionate for, but you just like, it's like, is the passion worth the chaos that it's bringing or something like that? Man, this is a really... Okay, the sun. Well, there's good news. You're not going to be in this period for very long. I think that like if you sit in analysis of why everything's happening the way it is happening and trying to gauge where it's going next, it's grueling. But if you just experience those emotions and let them be with you for that moment and give it like 10 minutes to let it pass, just feel it. What would happen if that were true? What would happen if that was the case? Like, it's almost like a get it out of your system thing. And instead of acting on it, just test out the feeling, like take it for a test run. Because I think that it's hard because there's something that's been pent up for a long time. And so sometimes it feels like you got to outrun those feelings by getting to the good part. But the good part happens when you like let every part of you be a part of you. It reaffirms that you're not crazy. Your intuition is spot on about what's happening. Your fears are legitimate, but not always telling of the future. It's just you have those fears for a reason, and you're allowed to. It doesn't mean you need to act on them, but it means that you're allowed to acknowledge that. It's like there's like a lot of good that happens in this process. The sun is where we bounce back from depression, from whatever, quite easily actually, and quite quickly. It's also where the situation finds an unexpected turn up towards the light, towards collaboration, towards self-respect, towards functioning. And it also means that that's where you're naturally trying to get to. It's like your ideas are bringing you in a way where things are collaborative, things are at peace, things are working for you and the people involved. That's where you want it to go. I think the burden feels heavy because there's some thing here that says if you can't make it happen that way, somehow you're responsible for all the bad that's happening within things. It's almost like you're taking the brunt of the burden. And I just think that that's one of the things that you're learning to shed, but through the process of experiencing all of these emotions, just in your own time and space and comfort levels. And yeah, where it's kind of like you're just meant to keep coming through. I don't know what that really means, but you're just meant to keep coming through. If this is a work situation, you're supposed to continue to show up there, even if it looks like it's not in your favor right now. If this is a relationship situation, you're just supposed to keep coming through. Like, that's all it's asking of you, is that you keep showing up and breaking open and showing up and breaking open within respectful limits of yourself. It doesn't mean you have to force yourself to be there, but I think it's saying, like, if there's a legitimate action, if there's a legitimate fear and an action that follows, like you're being hurt or whatever it is, I don't think that's what this is talking about. Like someone's physically harming you or putting you in danger, or like the more severe, you know, those things that can and do happen to just your everyday average person that no one ever thinks like it could be me. And then when it is, it's like, why didn't I think it could be me? It's like certain things are happening like that. If certain things are happening like that, I think that you're not compliant with enabling them. But something tells me you keep showing up and it's changing the situation. You're doing your work, processing things. You have a motive of why you're needed there with your knowledge, your skill set, your perspective, and also your voice. This is how it's making me feel. This is what's going on. It's like there's something important about specifically you being in those situations and like not backing down because you don't feel welcome there, because you feel like other people are talking about you behind your back, because whatever, this, that, and the other thing that's happening. It's like there's something that looks like it's trying to keep you out of a place. And there's something in you that if you just keep showing up and you just keep doing your thing and you just keep like processing, you're going to come out of that. Things will get better. I don't know how, but I know that they will get better. They will become more stable for you. There's going to be some kind of a transformation or a change there. There's also going to be I think what you're doing, Scorpio, is you're actually like holding a giant mirror up to someone or some other people, maybe two people in particular, in a situation, and you're kind of telling them like, you guys are hurt and you need to go deal with that. Like, it's spilling out, and I understand that that's happening, but you guys are hurt and you're now responsible for hurting me. Like, and now I'm going to say something about it. It looks like when you voice yourself, it's like that's the hardest thing to do right now. But when you open up about that, what you do is like you stop taking on other people's stuff that you cannot change. You won't change in any lifetime because it's not your stuff, but you will bear the burden of it, like thinking that it's you, and thinking that everything that you do as a coping mechanism that isn't working is just you failing over and over again. And that's not true. Your voice is what's needed, and specifically the words that you say about how something's making you feel and why that's not okay with you, like, or that's not okay with you. There's some kind of like a protected vibe, I don't know a better word, around it. your words and your perspective is very protected right now. And there's like a parting of the seas to make space for it to come out. And I think that when the opportunity presents itself, just you saying your experience is enough to make that situation change, because it triggers other people to see either that now they're taking responsibility for what they've done and they're making the changes that are necessary, that you can't unhurt yourself when someone else is doing it, right? But they can stop hurting you. And so it's like either that is what they'll realize, or they'll refuse to acknowledge simple things like that. And it will be them coming off as having the inability, having the disability, having the lack of what's needed there. Do you see what I'm talking about? About like, it's not your failure. It's that your environment is causing, your environment has things in it that are toxic, and you calling out those toxic things so that you can operate smoother, like that's not a problem. But I think that you think it's a problem. Like you don't want to be, maybe you don't want to be responsible for saying something, because if it doesn't get changed, maybe there's a pattern of people not listening to you and then pointing at you and making it look like now you voiced it, now you brought it into existence, now we can all point the finger and say it is you. And I think this is where you're actually overcoming that, because something is really understanding about this situation on your behalf, to where if people don't hear you, I think it's going to come down on them. I think others are emotionally intelligent enough to see when and where that's happening and to make those decisions for themselves. And I think even if it's a quiet kind of revolution that happens, it will be one in your favor, and not because you're a nuisance, but because you were honest and strong and brave. Because you just said it like it was, the way that you were feeling it. And it's like, that's the refresher that the situation needs. I feel like this really could be happening in your work. There could be a lot of like some hasty communication and then some like retreating back. Maybe even some bold communication and then waiting for communication back, waiting for some kind of an option to present itself. So it seems like there are other people involved, but what it feels like actually is that there is someone that you've been wanting to call about it, or you've been wanting to get their opinion or something on it, but I don't think that you have like reached out to them about it or met up with them or whatever. And I think that that person can actually really help you here. I think that they actually provide an option in some way, that the other people don't seem like they're necessarily on your side of things, or maybe they're just neutral, or maybe they know what's going on and they are refusing to get involved for their own reasons, but maybe they're not the resource and they know it that's going to fix this. So it's like there is someone though. How would you know this person, Scorpio? The Hierophant. Maybe you've been wanting to reach out for a reading or something. Maybe there's some kind of like a muse you have. Maybe there's someone that you know who tends to, when you are in a place where you feel stuck and you feel like things are not going to be in your favor at all, they come in and they validate what you're saying, and they figure that out with you, or they share a lot of the same experiences or opinions, or they can offer things to actually like help you feel validated. And continue on your mission to do whatever it is you're trying to do, or change whatever it is you're trying to change. I think one of the big things here, Scorpio, is that you feel very motivated to change situations. And I think that's a big burden for you. I think it weighs heavy on your shoulders. But I also think that, like, the way that you change situations is that you just be real. You just say it how it exists inside of you. Like, I think that's the quickest way to change a situation in this context, and in these settings. I think just say how you feel. Say what's going on within you. And then I think that things move for you in that way. But I think you're focused on, like, you feel responsible that things need to change. And I think what that's trying to reflect to you, why it's causing suffering, is because it's impossible for you to change everything or big systems, how they're operating, when there are other people involved. It has to be a collaborative thing. All people involved have to, or most people involved have to be on the same page. And I think that you have suffered a long time in thinking that, in keeping all of this in, knowing how you think it should be, and understanding all sides of things, and like knowing the thing that would make the most sense to do, but then not feeling like you can execute it because you keep telling people this is what needs to happen, this is whatever. But then it's almost like, I think that you have the gift of change, but I think that the way it's executed is literally just by talking about your feelings. And I think also the part 2 of that is that you're talking about your feelings with people who have empathy. And don't fool yourself and be like, oh, they're over empathizing with me, they're letting me off the hook, they're whatever. It's like, no, you have carried too much responsibility on your shoulders all by yourself for a very long time. And this is where you learn to only take what's yours. And what's yours is that there's a lot of heavy things going on inside of you. You're at a pivotal moment of change in your life. And this is where you start expressing yourself. This is where you start talking about what's going on inside. And that's where you see the most change, in not just you, but in the other people around you. Strength. Here we go. Card of Leo. Another card of Leo with the sun there. The Lovers. Yeah. And then it just, all good things come from that. King of Cups. Things lighten up. You can be surprised with what you find. Your money increases, or maybe your spending habits balance out. Maybe also your stability increases your money flow in some way by like causing less stress, making you more consistent, making you more productive. You're not having to repair and recuperate and recover from just daily interactions or whatever. You're actually able to use that energy towards your goals and stuff at some point, because the things that were draining you, you figured out where the hole in your bucket was, it gives you more energy. So it just looks like it's just heavy emphasis on communication, heavy emphasis on it's going to go well for you. It might feel like you are the most vulnerable and weakest person in the room when you are saying, this is how it made me feel. This is that, and that's not okay with me. Just period. But you will also be, you'll essentially transfer the responsibility to whoever it's meant to go to in that situation, because your reaction to mistreatment or something that feels toxic for you or something that is hurting you is not the problem. The problem is what happened, and that now we need to talk about it. And if this is an environment I'm going to continue coming to, things do need to change. Like, I wouldn't put my kid through that. I wouldn't put my friend through that. I wouldn't encourage my friend to go through that. I would encourage them to leave. I would encourage them to speak up. I would encourage them to do something, right? And I think that it's your time, Scorpio. It's your time to do the thing that you would encourage, someone who is feeling crushed by pressure to do, which is to just get your needs met, And some people think that, I think one of the biggest fallacies someone could have is that to be in that spotlight, asking for something, having a need, voicing one, that you actually need to have a disability, or you need to have had your house burned down, or you need to be completely homeless and lost your whole family. And that's not true. All you need is something to be hurting you, and that to be affecting your functionality. That's literally all that you need to speak up for yourself. Something to be negatively affecting you and your work. So that's where I'm going to leave that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you in another reading. I also have an angel card here. You'll feel better and more focused if you'll take the time to clear away clutter from your living and workspace. Donate what you can to help others who may need your items. Be sure to keep your schedule uncluttered as well. Organize for success. Yeah. Maybe this is something that you guys are working on right now, is like organizing, decluttering, donating, just clearing out. Do not let the word organize intimidate you, as it is simply a way for you to ensure clarity of purpose. Organizing your thoughts, your reports, your living and workspace, and your finances will help you know and plan your next action steps. Organize for success. Success is coming. The sun's about to shine on it. You're about to shed the light on it. Like, your truth is very much a part of that process. So that's what I see for you guys, Scorpio, and good luck with everything. And I will see you in another video. Bye.